Crime family, spooky season is here and all of the beautiful, beautiful spooktacular sets that come along with it. If you are new here, please subscribe, like, and comment on this video. My name is Sierra. I am so happy to have you. Look at this handsome little devil. This cute little psychopath with his cute little knife. That knife is adorable. I don't care who you are. So today we did a 3-hour set. This set only took me 3 hours because really there's only nail art on one finger and then a poison putty knife. So yeah, this set went really fast. And today we're going to get into this set and some just scary random facts. I switched the facts around to slasher movie facts because I found some really cool things that I really wanted to share with you guys that I think are neat. So I'm not leaving in the prep, but I am showing you something that I chose to do, and this is preference, right? I did a set a couple weeks ago and I gnawed them off this week at work, but I didn't get the pinky or the thumb off all the way. So I just went in and decided to file this down super thin. It's less than even an acrylic overlay. It's literally almost unnoticeable. It's so thin you can barely see it on the nails. And I'm going to go in and apply my tips over top of this. Again, it's only on the pinky and the thumb. The other 3 nails are bare, and it's preference, but your nail glue will stick perfectly well to this acrylic. So even though I'm not leaving in prep, I did want to show you the tips that we're using, which are our XXL non-C-curve square tips. These are on the site now. Yeah, finally I got them up. So if you're interested, you can reach out and grab them. Now I do end up going in and trimming these back the tiniest bit, like 2 millimeters, literally right behind the number is all I trim them. And yeah, I make my thumb a little bit shorter than the rest of the nails, but we're good to go. So here we're going in with VOODOO, and that is the Glow Nude from Season of the Witch acrylic collection, and Evil Eye from that same collection will be the glitter that we are going to use, the glitter acrylic. And when I say that this glitter acrylic performed, she deserves a standing ovation. Did you see the finished result? Oh my god, and she is beautiful glossy too. I am obsessed with this glitter acrylic. She is gorgeous. Okay, so I never would have guessed this, right? A Nightmare on Elm Street is based on a true story. I know Scream is based on a true story, and I know The Conjuring is. I know Amityville Horror is, and I know all the Exorcist movies are. But I did not know that A Nightmare on Elm Street is based on a true event. So, if you know, you know Wes Craven is the creator of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I guess a long time ago, because now we are old, he read in LA Times about a boy. And this boy was having vivid, horrific nightmares every night, waking up multiple times a night, screaming in terror. And it came down to the point that one night, this little boy has another horrific nightmare, wakes up, screams out for help, and then slumps over and dies from exhaustion. So Wes Craven reads this, and he gets the idea for A Nightmare on Elm Street because it's just too good not to, right? That franchise I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. I still love all the original movies, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing that this happened, but sometimes, no, okay, does it apply to this situation? Like sometimes good things arise from a bad situation, and it is a horror movie, it's not really a good thing. Okay, Sierra, shut up while you're ahead. So, okay, if you are not from the 90s or 80s, you are not gonna know what I'm talking about. But the X-Files. Okay, so there was this script written. This guy, who is a writer, read about a woman who changed her flight at the last second because her daughter had a gut feeling the flight was going to crash. And in turn, saving her and her daughter's life because that flight really did crash. And this guy got this huge idea for this script called Flight 180 that he was going to turn into the X-Files, right? He wanted this to be a series, small little episode idea, and he was going to turn it into the X-Files. And he ended up actually not turning it into the X-Files. He ended up keeping a hold of it. And it was about these teens who would cheat death, but then death would come back to get them. And it actually ended up turning into Final Destination, a full-length feature film. Like, that is so awesome that a possible X-Files episode, that could have been an X-Files episode. If you guys know what X-Files is, then you know how cool that would have been. But it didn't turn into an X-Files episode. It got its own full-length feature. Okay, so this next fact is a two-parter because this one kind of really is cool to me because I watched Faces of Death when I was like 7 or 8, and that really messed my mind up and probably the reason why I love horror movies. But Psycho, when I was like 10 or 11, I believe, Psycho is the horror film that got me hooked on scary movies. I watched it all the time. I like for a couple years, like every couple months I would have to watch that movie. And I was seriously obsessed. Here we are going in and just covering up our nail bed with VOODOO because I don't want my natural nail showing. I'm going to do a full clear glitter nail, and I hate when your nail beds are showing that white piece at the end, the free edge of the nail. So I'm just going to cover that up and then go in with our Evil Eye glitter acrylic and then encapsulate that. So yeah, I'm just covering all that icky natural nail look up. So Janet Leigh, the actress, or the main character in Psycho, is actually, so you know Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween. Yes, I know you know her. So the actress from Psycho, she's Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. Yes, I just found this out. I had to tell you because that is awesome. But that is not the fact that we are going to talk about right now. So I don't know if you know that Psycho is mirrored from Ed Gein, the serial killer, the guy that had all the dead people in his house, and skin and nipple belts and lampshade skin and just everything skin. Go look at him. This is not about him. So I was going to use our new glitters, our new Halloween glitters, but I decided not to, and I'm glad I didn't. These nails, I love these glitter nails. How they turned out is like chef's kiss beautiful. So I'm so happy that I ixnayed on the Halloween glitter and just chose to go with this. But okay, so the Psycho film that was inspired by the true events from Ed Gein's serial killer days. Now, the Psycho movie, did you know, okay, out of all the facts that I could choose, did you know that back then, censorship was so strict that you wasn't allowed to have a flushing toilet in a movie? And because of strict censorship rules, that shower scene with her in the shower and seeing the knife behind the shower curtain and like her scream and everything, just that 45-second shower clip took 1 week to film, and he actually ended up being the first movie like in history to feature a flushing toilet. Yes, that's the fact that I have for you. You have to admit, the more you know. Okay, so I know that they have some newer renditions of Candyman, but have you watched the original Candyman? I didn't like Candyman 2. It wasn't that great. Sorry, I love the original Candyman, and I didn't know this, but all those bees in that movie were real. But that's not the fact that I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about money. Okay? Tony Todd, the actor that was Candyman, went through this role. And he had like over 200,000 bees on him at one point. 200,000. even in his mouth. You remember the scene where they were coming out of his mouth? Yeah, those were really in his mouth. He had like this guard that was supposed to protect his mouth, but during the shooting of the movie, the precautions that they took didn't really pay off as well as they would have wanted, because he was still stung 23 times. But he signed a negotiation that for every bee sting he got during the filming, he would get paid an extra $1,000. So 23 bee stings times 1,000, $23,000 extra for working with bees. Is it worth it to you? I don't mind bee stings. They're annoying when it happens, but I love tattoos, and bee stings just don't bother me. Like, honestly, they've never bothered me. So I would take $23,000. Would you? Would you take $23,000? All right, so now we're getting into the nail art, and I was trying to look up some Ghostface scare bears. I only found one picture and it wasn't what I liked. So I kind of used it as an inspiration piece and came up with my own little Ghostface. He's not completely my own. Obviously, I was looking at a picture that was kind of inspiration, but my Ghostface isn't really like that Ghostface. I some bits and pieces are similar. So you know what's cool about this? It only took me 3 hours to do this entire set of nails, and I ate during this process. I actually had dinner. And one thing that really helped me kill time was I drew this entire outline of this Care Bear without curing. Yeah, I still have it cured at this point. I am just going gone with this little Care Bear. This gel paint is just so smooth. I didn't really have any issues. And when I did, I think I had one issue with the nose. That was it, because I made the heart nose right at that point. And then by the time I was done sketching the entire bear, the nose had ended up turning into a perfect little circle. The gel had flowed together. So I ended up having to go in with a little bit of acetone and kind of wipe that heart away and redo it, and then cure right after I redid the nose. So yeah, I do believe if I would have been curing between every little line and little fragment that I did, I would have been here way longer. But I did realize, because in my head, I didn't think about the fact that this is a black bear, and I'm drawing these feet, and the feet are going to be all black. I was really worried about how you were going to be able to tell once I colored them in that they were feet. Sorry, I got out of shot, but I will be right back in. So here we're going to go in and create the knife just so I can get the arm in the correct position, because I want to get the arm. I'm not fully done with the bear yet. I'm trying to think in my head. I'm stalling because I'm trying to think about how I'm going to separate these feet. If you see the feet at the bottom of him touching, they're both supposed to be black feet. So I'm like, shit. Once I color that other leg in, you're not even going to be able to tell that those are feet. What am I going to do? So I ended up deciding I was going to just go in with a gray, a dark gray. I mixed Bat Habits and Lazy Bones, which Bat Habits is black and Lazy Bones is white, from our To Die For gel paint collection. And I go in and just outline it with that kind of charcoal gray from mixing those two colors together. Now here I went in with our white Poison Putty and our black Coal Black Heart, and just built out a knife, and now I'm just designing it with our gel paints. The silver is from Savvyland. That is an old Savvyland gel pod that I had. It didn't really work that great. It was kind of crappy. It was very, very thick. It's very old, and I blame myself. But yeah. So once I do the knife tip and the handle, I cured, and then I went in with my design of gel polish, cured that, and then I top coated with a non-wipe top coat. And I'm just leaving it in the lamp to cure while I go ahead and go in with the idea that I had. Let me just, fill in the white areas where white needs to be. And we're going to use Lanky Bones for that from the gel paint collection. And then I'm going to go in and mix the two, white and black, to come up with the charcoal gray for the outline. Like, I was seriously just stalling as much as I could and trying to utilize the time. I didn't want to just sit around thinking, so I built the knife, and while I was curing the knife, I'm going in and filling in my Care Bear. So I'm trying to utilize my time and not just be sitting around waiting. I'm not sure if at this point I had the idea for outlining the bear in a gray color yet. I might still be actually just playing off with wasting, time, or like trying to come up with an idea while I'm still working. I still didn't even have a idea for what I was going to do on the other two fingers. I only drew out the Care Bear. I just had like kind of ideas of what I was going to do on the other two fingers. I knew I was going to do a Care Bear and I knew I was going to do a knife, but I didn't know for sure what the rest of the design was going to be. It was kind of a freestyle. So I'm attaching the knife using our diamond rhinestone gel, our diamond jelly, which you use for rhinestones. It cures non-sticky. It cures like a hard gel. I use that to attach the knife. I cure it, and then I fill in the knife all around it with that rhinestone gel, so there is nothing that could like grab a hold of my hair if I'm taking a shower. You don't want that tip to be exposed, because then if it grabs a hold of my hair, it could just rip it off, and I don't want that to happen. So I want to have his hand on the knife. I want it to look like the knife is coming from him. I want this to be like a two-part nail idea. He's on one nail and his arm and the knife are on the other, if that makes sense, which you see in the picture. As you can tell, that's what the idea is. And I'm just going in with Love at First Bite, which is our red, and I'm going to create the blood. And then here we go with the fill-in of the feet, and I end up doing the gray outline to help distinguish the feet features, I guess you would say. So here you see me going in and mixing those together. So I'm going to preface this next fact by stating that The Blair Witch Project was one of my least favorite horror films ever. I don't count it as a horror film. I think it was trash. It was horrible. Me and my friends tried to watch it, and it was just a no. We didn't make it through it. I do believe The Blair Witch Project Part 2 was better, but I don't think I even finished that one because it was pretty horrible. But had I known this fact, I probably would have cut the movie a little bit of slack. So if you watch The Blair Witch Project, it's these kids' descent into like madness. They're running around the woods, lost, and they're getting like tormented by this witch or entity or whatever you would want to call it. And it's literally just them dropping cameras and screaming. Like a couple jump scares maybe, but the jump scares weren't very scary, and they're just screaming. The whole time it's just screaming, and people will like, oh my God, what's that? Oh my God, what's that? And it's annoying. It's super annoying, and it was just frustrating. It was trash of a movie. But had I known this, okay, the cast of The Blair Witch Project actually slept in tents during the filming process of the movie. And not only did they sleep in tents, the filming crew would dress in camouflage, hide in the woods, and literally torment these actors to create this dire atmosphere. And then every day of filming, they would feed the cast less and less food to create this panic and anxiety feeling in them. So had I have known that, I would have been like, oh, okay, cut this film some slack. This cast was tortured. But I didn't know that, and the film was trash. Okay, it was just trash. But yeah, that's a fact about The Blair Witch Project. So I went in with our matte gel polish. We have it back on the site if you are interested in matte gel polish, a velvet matte, not a regular matte. This is a velvet matte. If you see it, it is like this super soft and sensual feel. I don't know how to explain it. She is just so beautiful. I love this matte look. But yeah, I went in with our new matte, and here is the final look. I did some blood drips and some splatter, and she is done. I love this set. Tell me what you think down below. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.